Artest guarding Bryant. Artest looking, gets it to Bryant. Bryant dribbling, has to put it up with the buzzer. Banks it in! He banks in the three! And the Lakers win the game!
Boom. What is going on, Syndicate members? Happy winning on Wednesday. Hope y'all are having an amazing start to your week. I am excited to be here. You can hear it in my voice. I'm feeling it. I'm energetic. I'm ready to go, and I hope you guys are too. Get your pen and paper ready because you should be taking notes. Again, happy winning on Wednesday. Hope y'all are having an amazing start to the week. It is the peak of the week, though, so keep the pedal down. Let's keep after it. And again, thank you guys, as always, for tuning in. Real quick, if you can, put in the comments that you can see me and hear me. What's up, Lily? I see you. And actually, speaking of Lily, shout out to Viva Virtual Solutions, our sponsor for winning on Wednesday. We appreciate you guys. And if anybody's ever looking for any type of virtual assistant solutions, reach out to Viva. And again, shout out to Lily. I literally don't know how I would continue to do this and run the group and the YouTube and the TikTok. I didn't even start the TikTok. She started the TikTok. So shout out to Lily. We appreciate you and everything you do behind the scenes. And real quick, y'all, actually, before I get going, I want to let y'all know and go ahead again, drop it in the comments. Also, go ahead and drop your weekly wins in the comments as well. We want to be able to celebrate you. I see you. Hey, Brooke, how are you? What's up, JD? Good to see you, brother. And again, drop those weekly wins in the comments. But I want to give a quick shout out. I know this is obviously winning on Wednesday. Y'all, tomorrow, we got Dave Meltzer freaking joining the show. So if you guys don't know who Dave Meltzer is, the movie Jerry Maguire is actually based off of him. He's worth over $120 million, and he is dropping some exclusive content for us tomorrow here for our new show, Ask the Experts. Okay, so make sure and tune in tomorrow. That'll be at 9:30 Central. But Dave Meltzer's joining with our new partner, Dave Williams, and it's going to be freaking awesome. The whole point of the show is literally just to bring any type of obstacles, hurdles, problems, anything, you name it, that you may be having in business, to ask the experts and have them be able to solve that for you real time. So shout out to Dave Williams for being able to organize that. That's honestly my weekly win, y'all. When I started this group, which a lot of you guys know me now, or at least by now, I just kind of go and I'll shoot and I'll aim later. And I never thought that 3 years later, that the syndicate would be over 8,000 members strong, that we would have new partners that are buying into the company, and in having Dave Meltzer, like a dude that's worth over $100 million something hop on this show. So that is my weekly win. I never really thought that this group would evolve into that. It was just more of, hey, let me pour out, let me try to really help as many agents as I can. And then here we are 3 years later doing our thing. So again, shout out to y'all for tuning in. It's all about our members. We appreciate you guys. But without further ado, I'm actually really excited for this freaking show. So I haven't brought him on yet, but Paul is actually one of my best friends from growing up in Indiana. He's actually the main reason I played lacrosse, not because I wanted to. He just was talking so much shit to me that he made me sign up. But I'm very excited to have them on the show. This is one of my best friends growing up, and his wife, and then their business partner, Chris. And just the things that they're doing, y'all, not necessarily, again, it's not going to be insurance specific. I wanted to shift it up today to where it's really about that entrepreneurial spirit. And I think finding that lane that you get to run in, there's a lot of different ways to skin the cat in this world, y'all. And so, again, I'm very excited to have them on. So without further ado, y'all, go ahead and drop your weekly wins in the comments, and go ahead and drop in a nice little hand clap for my good friends, Paul and Kylie and Chris. What's going on, y'all?
Hey,
what's up, Joe?
What's up? How we doing?
Good, man. This is awesome. I love this.
You like that intro?
It was great.
I saw y'all backstage like, oh, damn, Joe, actually. It's funny, guys. Paul knows me from back when Joe was Joe, so he's like, damn, Joe's like kind of like low-key official with this whole podcast thing, huh?
I love it. I love it.
Well, welcome to the show, y'all. Thank you guys for tuning in. Real quick, for those that don't know you, which, again, I mean, for the most part, anybody in the syndicate probably doesn't know who you guys are. So just share, hey, who are y'all? And just 30,000-foot overview of kind of what you guys are up to.
You want to start? Yeah. So my name is Paul Garcia. This is my wife, Kylie, and obviously my business partner, Chris. But for the last probably 6-7 years, I've been heavily focused on the sales side, working for corporations. And about 4 years ago, my wife and I started a business venture where we're selling products to direct to consumers for like the lawn and garden space. So just very niche, but we've learned a lot about the D2C space, what business owners need, what they don't need, right? Where you're going to get burned. And so we've taken that, we've shifted it, we've grown it, but we've also decided to expand upon that and build another business called Ship Quick, where we work with other entrepreneurs and other brands and help them fulfill their orders online, help with some coaching, some strategy sessions on how we can help them grow their business. But that's what we've been most excited about. So.
I like it. Miss Kylie, I know you got a freaking impressive resume. What you got?
Yeah. So like Paul said, we're a husband and wife team. I graduated from Purdue University. Paul and I don't have the traditional story. We had our baby girl, senior in college, finished out my last semester with a newborn baby. Got hired as a district manager for Aldi. So, went through that program. They start you from the ground up. So you're a cashier, you work your way up. I learned a ton about managing people and just what it takes to, somewhat run a business. Like I didn't have all the risk, but it felt like I was running my own business. And then Paul, really pushed us. Like we both have entrepreneurship backgrounds. My family, long time entrepreneur as well. And so we just decided to run with Bughutt. My family's been in the ag space for 20 plus years. They had the technology developed, and we just kind of took that and marketed it to the everyday consumer for like flowers, plants, and gardens.
I love it.
Yeah, that's where we are today, I guess. That's how we got here.
Hey, I'll tell you, them cashiers at Aldi are fast. You know what I'm saying? Hey, those are the fastest cashiers I've ever seen, man. They're just shoo, 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 shoo. I love it. Well, thank you guys for
there's no mess around at Aldi. It's like efficiency all the time.
Yep. I love it. Chris, what you got, brother? Good to see you, man. It's been a minute since I've seen you.
I know it's been a hot minute. I was a college teammate with Paul at Bellarmine University for lacrosse, and I remember a alumni Noblesville game we went up and we ran you off the railroad tracks. I think about 5 minutes into the quarter, but it's all right.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, we go way back. So it's Paul and I, we met freshman year in college. We were roommates. I don't know if it was a gifted curse, but here we are 10, 12 years later hanging out. So I got to meet Paul before Kylie. I got to meet Kylie and learn Kylie separately because Kylie actually, we had the same career. I started out at Aldi and she helped me find my way into Aldi. So it's really full circle to kind of like meet them when you're young, start the beginning of your career, and then you work together going forward. So it's really kind of a gifted, I guess, curse, blessing, all in all. I think Kylie and I, we worked at Aldi. We learned how to run businesses. I went into a year of international procurement with them. So I did goods not for resale. I was just buying instead of T-shirts, polos, hats, metal racking materials for the business to run. So I was out of the national real estate office and I learned the global supply chain pretty quick. It was right around that when COVID had just ended. So there was a lot of delays and we were still opening up 200 stores a year. So I learned how to negotiate pretty quick.
$200 a year, bro? That's crazy.
It was fun. It was a fun time period. That office, just like they run efficiently in stores and the cashiers, well, the back house of the office for Aldi, they run just as lean and they're good. They're sharks out there really growing that business. So we had a great entrepreneurial background in education. I went into tech, so I found a venture-backed company. Found a CEO, really brilliant guy, great product. And I helped build out a lot of the business functions there, learn how to create a sales team from the ground up and grow. So I took that background. Paul and I, we just hit the ground running. There's nothing sexy about building a business. You pick up the phone, you get yelled at, you get yelled off the phone. Kylie laughs at us sometimes, and we just try to sign contracts and help people grow their businesses. And that's going really well. So I do that half time. And then the other half of the time I work in an AI company with another college teammate. And we do really small, medium business where we can build bots and streamline efficiencies, RFPs, emails, you name it.
I need more efficiency when it comes to streaming. I love you, Facebook. I know I'm on Facebook right now, but technically it's through StreamYard, and the custom RTMP and the stream keys and crap that I have to copy and paste every single time to go live within StreamYard. And I have to use OBS for this virtual screen capture device to go into. I'm like, man, I need some more efficiency, bro. Dude, that's crazy. 200 stores. I'm glad. I typically start somewhere else, but you said it, so I'm going to start here. All right, you pick up the phone, like, and you dial on these business. Paul, I want to hear this from you, like, and we'll both y'all tag team this, like. What are you guys doing? How are you building this? I guess, and how long? I guess is that what? Remind me the name of the new, is it Ship Quick or
Ship Quick.
Yeah. So when did that start? And I guess how have you kind of started to build and scale that? I love what you said.
We started. It's coming up on a year. We're getting close to it, but my father-in-law is like, he has this warehouse we work out of, and he's like, hey, you guys need to figure out an idea to like use the space, right? And I was sitting here thinking and talked to Kylie about it. I'm like, hey, there's these businesses out there that do what we do for Bug Hut, right? Like they handle other people's orders, they process orders, they keep track of inventory. I'm like, what if we did that? And so I called Chris, and he was like, yeah, I think we could do that. And we just like threw it together, came up with a name. I mean, Chris, what did we come up with a name in like 10 minutes? I mean, it's nothing crazy, but like literally just threw it together, threw the LLC together in like a span of like 48 hours. Or like, let's just get it going, right? Like, and that's what I think we've learned so much about business, whether it's flipping houses or, starting Bug Hut or Ship Quick, like just do it, right? And you're going to fail. And at the end of the day, like you're going to figure it out. Like you're going to fail, you'll figure it out, you'll make the mistakes, but at the end of the day, just try something. And it honestly, I just feel like things always work out. Like if you continue to just push, like things just continue to work out as long as you work hard. But we got the idea. It's like, hey, let's see if we can do this for other brands. We have a ton of space. And so we started doing it, and we sit there and we cold call. We like Chris and I yesterday got on a Zoom for like an hour and a half where we got on, I don't know if you've ever used Apollo, which is like a lead sourcing app. Yeah. So we use that. We filter by like any company that uses a Shopify store, right? Because that's our target market, or people who are selling e-commerce online and shipping direct to consumer. So we'll filter by people who have WooCommerce stores, Shopify stores, BigCommerce, right? All these popular e-commerce channels. And we'll just set up, look down the list, and Chris shares the screen, and we just go back and forth, ripping dials. So
I freaking love that. And that's like pure cold calling, right? Like, and it's funny. So a lot of people, and I get it, like cold calling is not obviously the best way to generate business, but it definitely freaking works, because ultimately in what we're doing, guys, which is sales, everything you guys are hearing them saying, they're not in insurance, but I hope some of you freaking insurance agents are freaking listening. Just pick up the phone and dial. I mean, I remember when we started Redwood, dude, we were so broke, and it was like, we couldn't afford to do anything other than, hey, give me a cold list, dude, run it through the DNC, make sure they're not on the do not call, and just start dialing, man. And I had no clue. And I didn't even have an understanding of how to be an independent insurance agent either. So I remember just calling on these people. But I mean, ultimately, y'all, it's how you get better, right? It's how you flex that muscle and you get better, the repetition and everything like that, which I think, applies to so much in what we do in business. Is like, you just got to pick up the phone and make those dials. And I love that you're able to do it on the cold call side. And I think that speaks to your product and your pitch. And Chris, I guess let me ask you that. And then Kylie, I'm coming back to you. How important do you think it is when you're cold calling the first 30 seconds, your pitch, right? Like, what's your pitch and how do you get people to kind of stay on the line with you?
Yeah, that's like a real hot topic. And I was fortunate when I was building out the sales department at the venture-backed company. Palo Alto is a small community, so I got connected with a lot of really great of those sales leaders, the Chris Orlobs, the Jeb Blunts, and I got to meet them and be coached a little bit by them. So there's a lot of different techniques out there, but I think Paul and I are pretty similar. We try to catch them off guard and just say, hey, this is Chris Cousins. Is this Paul Garcia? Usually it's like, yeah, who's Chris Cousins? Oh, I'm the co-founder of Ship Quick. And then as soon as they're going to just ask me. And at that point, I'm just like, we don't even pitch them. Like, I know I'm bugging you in the middle of the day right now. Not really trying to waste your time too much. And usually there's like, then they're like, oh shit, I was kind of being real. Like, you know what I mean? Oh, this guy's like actually just trying to be real with me. And then we just hit him with I saw your brand, website looks good, product looks cool. We do fulfillment. I'm assuming you're selling a lot of your product right now. are you doing it in home, or can we earn part of your business? Let me know. I'm trying to grow mine. And usually it's just, yes, you get to the know really fast, or you get, hey, send me an email or follow up with me. And we've signed a pretty good amount of business that way.
Yep. Get to the know, right? Because I love that you said that, because the faster you can get to the no's, right, the faster you're going to get to the yeses. It's just on the other side of things, right? I love what you said. So, Cody asked us, Paul, kind of going back to what you were saying, a good friend of mine, Cody, I was just messaging him last night. He always says details delay, which again, for me, this is my strength. It's like my biggest strength, yet it's also my biggest weakness. So I want to ask Kylie, Kylie, what are your thoughts when it comes to details delay? Because I feel like you probably are the brains and the organization and everything that kind of makes it all work behind Paul's chaos of like, fuck it, let's do it. Or like, what are your opinions on details delay and kind of just what you've seen and kind of the part that you've played and the role you've played as you guys have started to scale not just one company but two?
Yeah, I would say I'm definitely more of the details person. So Paul, he has the ideas, which are great, but he doesn't I have to do all the work behind them to make them happen. So I'm more of like the devil's advocate, like, hey, if we do this, are we sure this is, the right decision?
Mm-hmm.
I think we're a really great team because of that. We're both the first child. So I think it's kind of, most people don't marry, first childs don't usually marry each other because we're similar in that sense. But I don't know if I'm answering your question. I think, details are important in terms of a sales pitch. They definitely, you just got to get to the point for the sale. But, when you're making business decisions, I think you do have to evaluate everything and make sure you are considering the details. For us, it's been is this going to be profitable? We made a lot of decisions that weren't profitable. And, we've learned the hard way on a lot of different things in terms of marketing, Facebook ads and Google ads and agencies, who do you work with? We've learned a ton, and we've just really built out partnerships, and we've gone through a bunch of different people until we found the right one. So I think that's something we've learned a lot over the past couple
Kylie
years.
always makes the joke I come up with the big ideas and start them, and then she sees it through. She always sees it through with the details and the behind the scenes stuff. So
he's definitely the salesman. He can lock down the deals, but
yeah, he doesn't even have a product to pitch yet, but he's pitching it, and it's we'll figure it out. We just got to get a yes first.
That's right.
So I guess let's go back. So this is typically where I start, but we started with the phones, which I thought, that's beautiful and how we just kicked this off. But let's kind of go back to even just when you guys were looking, I guess, graduating college, having your first kid, moving. And so, I know obviously some of y'all's backstory. Kind of talk through some of that timeline and what it looks like to be a new young family just graduating college and starting a business. Because you guys started Buckeye pretty freaking quick, if I'm not mistaken. Or correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like you guys did pretty quick once you guys graduated. Talk through some of that, that first couple years, right? Of hey, we've got a kid, and then guess what? And then but you guys have 6 kids now. No, I'm kidding. But you guys have a lot of kids. I only got 2, third on the way. I'm trying to catch up, but. Talk through some of that timeline. And Kylie, kick us off with that. What did that look like being a new mother running? Hey, I've got my husband that can freaking pitch a deal all day and has these amazing ideas, but I've got to see it through. I think that'll speak to a lot of our members, because guess what? Life is especially when you're trying to scale and grow a company, life and business is business and life. It's the same freaking thing, right? You don't really get to leave it at the office, especially when you're an entrepreneur and doing the things that we're trying to achieve. Talk through some of that. Was it an emotional roller coaster? Was it easy? I'm sure it wasn't easy. That was a rhetorical question. But give us kind of some insights on that.
Yeah. So when we were starting Buckeye, we actually had 3 kids at the time. So
holy shit.
Our oldest was 4.
Crazy.
And the boys are 20 months apart. So, basically 2 under 2 at that point. So yeah, life was crazy, but we both had full-time jobs. I just remember we were sitting in our room late at night, just building out labels on Adobe, trying to come up with these designs. The first thing was coming up with the packaging. We wanted it to be easy to use. How are we going to differentiate ourselves in the market? Because there's tons of fertilizers out there. You go to Lowe's and you're in the garden section and you're looking at the shelf. And you're I don't even know what I need or what I should buy. At that point, you're just picking the prettiest thing and you're I'm going to try this on my flowers. So for us, it was we want to make sure the packaging is easy to use and clean and convenient. And then, the biggest differentiation for us is it's organic, all natural. That's our big push. We're taking the guesswork out of growing, and then it's safe to use around your pets and your family, your kids. But yeah, I mean, it was hard. Like, don't get me wrong, like starting a business is hard, but it's so rewarding. At that time, it felt, we were both like, we just wanted it so bad. I feel like no matter how hard it got, it's like, we had each other to push through. And every year, like, you just see, like, looking back now, like, it's awesome to look at how far we've come. Year one, we had our labels that we designed that some people say were horrible. Some people are like, oh, I like them. But then year two, we did a big rebrand, like had an actual graphic designer design out our labels. And then year three, like, we're in our first retailer, like we're doing a regional test with Lowe's and hoping, that keeps going. Yeah. So I don't know. It's been an amazing journey. Definitely been hard. The nice thing for me is like my full-time job, like coincides with Bug Hut because, it's two family businesses, kind of selling the same products. But Paul was still working full-time, basically had 3 jobs. I don't know how he did it, honestly.
Was that when you were rocking Paycor, Paul?
Yeah. Yep. So I guess that's my win of the week is I quit my job last week. So my last day was.
Did you really?
Friday.
Let's go, dude. Congrats,
so,
man. Wait, hold on.
Full time on these. So.
Hey, full time. I love it, dude. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, that's my win of the week. But I think that's the biggest thing is like the beginning is so hard. Like you're just like pouring money into it. You're pouring time into it and you don't see anything back right away. I mean, it's kind of like, you're an athlete, right? Like going to the gym, anyone who does that, like you're not going to go to the gym for a week and, get your shoulders huge from a workout, right? Like you got to go months and months and months. And then finally you'll start to see after a while, like day by day, you don't notice a change, but looking back months, then you notice like, holy crap, like look at where I was to where I am now. And it's those types of days I think like go a long way for us. Cause again, the day to day, just, you can hardly tell anything's happening. Obviously you have those big wins. Like last week we went to a trade show and we sold a decent amount of products. So we were we were stoked about it, right? Like super stoked. High day. But most time, like as an entrepreneur, I feel like your low days are just getting kicked in the teeth, right? Like just down here, just getting kicked in the teeth all day.
So I guess, with that, I think Kylie, you made a really good point. And it's having somebody to be able to help you push through, right? Paul, a lot of what you just talked about, we were literally just talking about short-term targets last week, and just the power of short-term targets. But then also what you're speaking on is delayed gratification, right? And I think, when that day-to-day happens and it does, I mean, honestly, some days it becomes mundane. It's like, man, I am just going through the freaking motions to make this thing work. But then there is that delayed gratification, like, oh, I'm so freaking glad that I just grinded that out, right? Chris, I want to ask you this question. How important to you, because obviously you guys are all partnered, you've known Paul for years. I think the delayed gratification is great, but there's also the need for that, I guess, what we'll call a partnership. And obviously a lot of people watching this show right now, I'm a big believer in partners, right? Like that is my strategic partnerships is the way to go. That is how you really grow businesses and scale, because I cannot do 1,000 freaking things at once. And I will try to. I will 100% try to. And then I suck across the board, right? Versus getting really good or having somebody like Paul, that call last night. Hey, I don't know shit about water filtration, but I got a guy that does, right? And so talk through, Chris, just in your opinion, what is the importance of having a partnership when starting a company? Because again, you're going to have those tough days, right? Like you and Paul, you're going to have those cold call days where it sucks. Like, why am I even freaking doing this, right? But then ultimately what you're chasing. Where does the partnership piece and having like what we'll call a running mate alongside you, like how powerful is that, do you think, when it comes to starting, growing, and scaling a company?
Yeah, it's a great question. And, just devil's advocate, I really think it depends on who you are as a person, whether you're a very individual person and self-motivated, or if you like to be pushed. For me, I love team sports. I was not a runner to start my life. I was not a swimmer, right? Like I like to be in a sporting event and I like to be in a weight room next to someone and being pushed. So for me, I naturally like partnerships better because I know that I hold myself to a really high standard, probably higher than most people hold themselves or think they can hold themselves too. But then when Paul is around me or Kylie's around me, that standard gets raised, right? But then his gets raised and Kylie's gets raised. So it's something that for me, that's how I function, and that's how I work day in and day out. So I think partnerships are great. My AI company has 2 other business partners as well. Could we all probably run a company by ourselves? Yeah. But for me to be able to trust people and know that I'm not the smartest person in the room, but I have other people that are probably smarter than me, but we all trust each other enough to call each other out. It's not comfortable. Like Paul and I, Kylie's listened to probably every conversation we've had, even though she doesn't act like she listens. She's got bad ears and can hear from a mile and a half away. She's smiling over there for a reason. But Paul and I have uncomfortable conversations sometimes. And like, I remember one time I told him, hey man, it was over a marketing spend. I was like, you keep telling me you want to grow the business, but you're scared to spend the money. We just took an investment on. Spend the money. Like, we need to grow this business. And then 2 or 3 weeks later, he calls me and goes, hey man, I'm spending the money, but you're not holding up your end on reaching out to the people. And I was like, you know what? You're right. So we corrected it. We held each other accountable, and maybe some business partners would walk away from each other at a time like that or start fighting. But for me and Paul and Kylie, and for anyone that's running your own business or wants to run your own business, you fail at your job, whether someone is paying you or you're paying yourself day in and day out. And at some point, those failures are either going to add up to something, and they're going to be a good thing or a bad thing. And it's going to cost you your job that someone else is paying your salary, or you're going to have business partners that you've sacrificed with that are going to understand what you're working for, and they're going to support you more. And I like that mentality. I like building my own wealth. I like taking that control out of it. And you work for yourself. It feels like you're not, but 1, 2, 3, 4 years later, even if you're failing, how many people do you meet when you're building a business and fail? How many people start believing in you? Every failure is a failure forward, and you grow, and it builds up over time. And now I'm at a point in my life where I don't feel like I need to work for anyone else the rest of my life. And maybe that's just a mentality, and I'll get leveled up real quick or leveled down quick. But I'm confident in my skill set. I'm confident in the people I know. And I'm confident that regardless of what happens, failing's kind of fun because you learn how to be successful from it.
You learn faster. You learn faster. The more you fail, the faster you learn, y'all. I think, dude, what you said is so freaking spot on. And I want to ask y'all as a collective group here on this, because I think in order to kind of have that synergy and that back and forth, right? And I don't know if I've been in insurance. Well, anytime I've had my own company or running my own, like, it's all been partnerships. Like, I've never done it by myself. So I'm a huge believer in, like, hey, I know what I'm really good at, and I know what I'm really bad at, and I got people in my corner for the shit that I'm bad at, right? But I think, in order to really kickstart this thing and to be able to have those uncomfortable conversations and come back and have that accountability, right? The accountability piece is so freaking big, but it's ultimately because you guys all see the vision. So I actually want to go back, Kylie. You were just talking about how you were creating labels. For me, I suck at creating stuff from scratch. Like, I mean, it is the word. Like, give me a little something to kind of make my own, please, and I will make it my own, and it'll look great. But like, having to come up with a label for a freaking, company, like, I guess, how did y'all even start with that? Like, where did the vision come from of like, dude, we're gonna call this thing Bug Hut, man, and like check out. And I think you made a really good point too. Anybody in insurance, you should be listening to this. How you package your product matters. They're talking obviously in the physical sense, but like how we package our insurance products and pitch those to consumers freaking matters, right? There's 1,000 different pretty packages out there. What separates you from the noise? And so, Kylie, what was the vision behind it, and how were y'all able to, I guess, instill that within obviously partners, right, to continue to grow this thing? And I guess, do you guys have employees, or do you have other people that are helping you kind of run the show, or just kind of speak to the vision and ultimately just how you had, I guess, the creative mindset to come up with Bug Hut? Like, because again, I would not be able to do that at all.
Yeah, so we get this question all the time, like, what is Bug Hut? Like, they're like, oh, the Bug Hut, or you're selling bugs. Like, what kind of bugs do you have that can help me? So actually, it's kind of a, I don't know, funny story. My dad bought the domain www.bughut.com. Like, he swears you have to have a 6-letter domain because people don't like typing in long domains. So he had this since like the late 90s.
Oh,
he
no
bought
way.
it from, I don't know, I think it was like some guy in China or something that had Bug Hut. And he always wanted to do something with it. Like, he had all these different ideas. Like, he was going to sell seeds, like burpee seeds, and call it Bug Hut, do like Bug Hut seeds. But no one ever ran with it. And so finally, after hundreds of times of my dad saying like, Bug Hut's the future, like, you got to do something with it, Paul was like, we're doing it. And we took it, and our first logo, like, I feel like we came up with like 100 logos.
They're awful. They're awful.
The family, like the whole family, had to like sit down and like.
Yeah, we like we're sitting in the kitchen of like her parents' kitchen and like going through the different logo options, and they all look like shit. I mean, we had to pick one, right? Because like we're not paying a graphic designer yet. We're gonna try to do this ourselves.
Yeah, so it was just Adobe fonts. Like I was just like going through, and so the bug is the microorganisms, so the beneficial bacteria are like bugs, and then the hut was always like the place that we grew up. Like my dad's first business was in this Quonset hut. And so like that was the hut. So our first logo was Bug Hut, and then there was like a little hut over it. And then we just like we wanted it to be pretty and bright, so we just picked like the brightest colors we could find, and like came up with like somewhat catchy product names. So we just had 3 core products. It was Flower Power.
And they ended up making it more confusing for the consumer. So that was great.
What were the other ones?
We
do that. What do you mean? Why do you think it made it more confusing? I think I know where you're
we
going.
Had two different packaging types. We have a concentrate bottle, which is like a 16-ounce squeeze bottle, and then we have the same product, literally the same exact product, but in a ready-to-use 32-ounce like hose and sprayer. So we called one like Flower Power, right, and then the other one would be Garden Power. But people always would be like, "Oh, I can only use this on my flowers. I can only use this on my garden." We're like, "No, it's the same product. We just say this one's better for the garden because it goes farther versus this one's better for like using on potted plants or whatever." But we kept getting that question over and over. And we're like, man, we really need when we rebrand, we need to figure out new names because we got to make this as dumbed down as we can for people because we don't get to explain our story on the shelf. So how can our packaging effectively explain our story without us having to stand there and tell people every time they walk by?
Mm-hmm. That's a really good point. How can you get your message across yet you're not even able to actually communicate your message to people? Like that's so powerful. Talk through a little bit about, I guess when you started to scale Bug Hut. Okay. And then I want to get into one of my first questions was what caused the expansion. And I know you guys kind of talked about it a little bit, but hey, Bug Hut's up and running. We're doing our thing. Obviously you guys are, you got the family and everything like that. You're rocking and rolling. You're still working full-time jobs, right? I guess, let's talk about that. What caused the expansion of like, let's kind of go into Shift Quick and all this. And like, so what caused the multiple streams of revenue or like the multiple business avenues, like where I'm already busy as shit. I'm already working 3 full-time jobs. Was it just another Paul had a good idea out in the backyard or like what caused the expansion? Chris, kick that one off. What do you think caused the expansion?
Yeah, it was probably Kylie was just annoyed and told him to call me instead. And I was like, oh shit, you finally got a good one. Let's go. She was like, wait, what? Chris agreed? And then here we are a year later. But I think that at the end of the day, Kylie was raised from a very entrepreneurial father and family. She's very entrepreneurial. Paul is, and they're operating out of a warehouse where there's empty space. And some people would look at that and maybe put a basketball hoop in there and shoot around. And we said, how can we make money off of it? And we didn't know how. Paul did research. People were just like, where'd you come up with the idea? How'd you train yourself? We booked meetings with people that were selling software and selling things into them to try to figure out who we should start contacting. And then we tried to make relationships with people that ran the businesses or knew what they were doing. And we built off relationships. And it's similar with what they did off of Bug Hut. It's hard work. It's relationships. And you don't know if you're going to succeed or not, but those relationships, which is what I mentioned earlier, they add up over time, and it really, really helps out, I think.
Yep. Anything to add to that, Kylie?
I would just say, so my dad always said, like, don't put all your eggs in one basket. So, and thinking back, like Paul and I talk about this all the time. Paul has had so many ideas. Like, we were just looking at our budget from like 2 years ago, and he had this idea for like a golf towel. We called it like the par towel.
Yeah.
It was like magnetic.
Still a good idea if anyone wants to take it on.
What was it, magnetic?
It was a magnetic golf towel that also had a scrubber, like a golf head scrubber, like on the end of it. So you didn't have to have a brush and a towel. Like it was like together. But again, just random ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Paul can speak. I feel like you can speak more to like why we expanded into Ship Quick, but yeah, I just honestly, for me, like I just wanted to get out of the rat race of like working at a corporation. Like as much as I love the people that I worked with and how great they were and how much I was taught, like literally like when I graduated from Purdue, Cintas, I did their management trainee program, their sales program. They probably have one of the best sales programs in the country, in the world. Like it's fantastic. I think they could pick anyone off the street and teach them how to sell.
And then Paycor really refined those skills. Like we're selling to much higher level enterprise level buyers, right? CHROs, CFOs, CEOs, those types of businesses of, more of like, 2, 3, 4, 500 employee businesses versus Cintas is more of that like mom and pop shop, right? So I think it helped me refine those skills. But at the end of the day, like I just wanted to get out of selling for someone else. I'm like, hey, if I'm good at this, if I'm that good at this, like, why don't I just do it for myself? Like, why am I making everyone else so much money when I could just, again, the first couple of years are going to suck regardless of what you do, no matter how good you are at it. But down the road, like 10 years, like, do I want to be still selling software for someone else, or do I want to have my own multi-million-dollar business? Like, what do I want to do? And so for us, that was my big push. Like, how can I get out of the rat race of working for someone else? Like that's always been my biggest push. I just don't take well to authority. Like I just never have. Like I'll put up with it, but at the end of the day, I'm like, I can't have someone tell me what to do every day. Check in, like, where's your activity? How many calls have you made? And I'm like, I can't do that.
I think that's in some people, but I love that you said it because some people need that. I think some people do need that. Obviously, you're a very self-driven, motivated person where like, dude, I'm going to do the calls. Like, I don't need you all up on my shit, right? But I think some people like, and I know that I'm speaking to a lot of people in the Facebook group right now. Some of y'all need somebody to tell you, yo, pick up the freaking phone, bro. Like, you ain't done nothing. Like, what are we doing? And then you're over here complaining about why you're not making money. And it's like, well, because you're not doing what it takes to really make money, right? I think, also you said something that was very important a little bit earlier, and it's very important for us as well. Definitely in insurance, literally all of our year-end. So I know you guys aren't in insurance, but like our year-end bonuses, it's called profit sharing, and profit sharing is based off of your profitability, right? And so Kylie, you said it earlier where it's like, look, it doesn't make us profit. How hard is it though when starting a business that you're obviously it's like we're not running a non-for-profit, like we're running a for-profit business, but man, I'm looking at that bank account, dude. And sometimes I'm like, damn, what's going on here, man? Like, where's the profit, dude? Talk through that because obviously we're pursuing profitability, but there are going to be what we'll call seasons, right? And that's kind of actually that's pretty good. Speaking to y'all in farm and ag and everything, like there's going to be seasons, right? But how do you get through those tough seasons of where I'm not seeing the profit? I know, I believe in the idea and I know it's a good freaking idea, but man, like, what's the mindset behind that? How have you guys been able to push through that?
Yeah, I think it's been, like drilled in our head. So the first 2 years, obviously, we're building brand awareness. We're trying to like make people recognize Bug Hut, try the product. Like, we haven't had a profitable year yet. So this is like our third season. We know it's a viable idea. We know people need these products. This is the future. Like people are, they want organic, safe products. Fertilizer, or people are overusing fertilizer. It's not needed. Our products work. Like people are seeing like visible differences. We have tons of testimonials. So, I mean, we've known like it's going to take a couple years to get the business up off the ground running. But the goal this year is like, we need to be profitable. Like at the end of the year, we need to have money to be able to buy our raw materials for next year. So we really had to just evaluate like every single area we're spending in, like every single marketing avenue, and figure out, what's working and what's not, and where should we put our money. So I think that's been huge for us. Like when we launched, it was mainly e-commerce. Like we were focused on influencers, Facebook, Meta, but now we're like, we just have to be on retail shelves. Like we have to pick up the phone or go to these shows and sell it ourselves because, there's so many people advertising on Facebook. Mm-hmm. Like it's insane to even try and get, a view or an impression. So it's just a lot of like pivoting, learning, sticking with it because it's going to be worth it.
Yep. I think the other thing too is like one thing that really helps me is just like, I'm a words of affirmation guy. Like I really appreciate people like supporting us. So like, even just hearing it from friends and family, like you guys are crushing it, you're doing, even though, like to Kylie's point, like Bug Hut hasn't been profitable, even though Ship Quick was so quickly, right? Like it just kind of took off. But at the end of the day, like getting those words of affirmation from our friends and family being like, you guys are crushing it, you're doing a good job, even though it doesn't seem like it some days, honestly, it's huge for me. Like that's big. Like it keeps me going. Just keeps me going.
Yep. Chris, what you got on that?
I think like the little wins along the way too, just because I was I mean, we've all grown up together, right? So I've just seen them personally and professionally grow. And like, I remember I was just laughing when they were talking about the logo designs, because I remember it was literally, we went to school in Louisville, Kentucky, and UPS had a huge facility there. I mean, it was poop brown, the logo they had for Bug Hut. And I was sitting there looking at the designs, I was like, this one, this one's a good one. So it's just like the learning, right? The learning moments over and over again. But you also have to have the successes and the little wins along the way. Like a logo is cool. It's yours. You know what I mean? It's yours for the first time. Like that's something to be meaningful. And over time, you believe in it and you learn more about what you're learning. And I think that's probably my biggest thing that I would say, just like along the way, is we graduated college, or you graduate high school, you get done with it. And that's sometimes when people stop learning. And that's usually when you stay with whatever you're doing, the same group of people you're with, the same money you're making. Paul and I hated school. I mean, we were lacrosse guys. We went to college and played lacrosse and we worked out, and you know, that's just what we did. But when we graduated college, we didn't stop learning. We learned skill sets. We figured out ways to do things. And Kylie's been there supporting and pushing us and telling us we're dumb and we're dumb, and laughing at us when we're being dumb, and still letting us make the mistakes because she thinks it's funny. So we enjoy it along the way together, I think, which is like really, really important to have those little successes. And then the relationships, I keep hitting on it over and over again, but with Shipped Quick, we built it so quickly with the relationships. We knew that we could spend a ton of money. We could raise money if we wanted to go get $100,000 for an office, a marketing spin, you know what I mean? Or we just do the hard thing and we try to build the relationships. And I called so many people where I didn't know the acronyms they were using. I didn't know anything they were talking about, but I just kept asking why. I was just urgently curious, and I just kept trying to figure out. And eventually I found out ways to solve their problems. And if you start helping people, they start helping you. My one win, I've been with the company for probably about a year and a half as a partner with them, just trying to help them out with different brands, grow things. I don't think I've personally done anything really meaningful. Well, the CEO messages me last night at 7:30 on Slack and goes, "Hey, can I call you? What's your number?" Calls me at about 8:15 at night, and he says, "We're a part of a privately held $1 billion holding company. They need a 3PL. Are you guys available to meet with the family tomorrow?" And I'm just like,
yes,
I don't know if we're going to land the deal or not, but you're telling me 12 months ago we would have had that opportunity? No. I helped that guy out 4 or 5 times, didn't ask for a referral fee, didn't ask for anything along the way. And when he needed me, he thought of me. So you just got to blindly believe and trust.
I think, and I think with that, you know, it's really when you give, you get. Everybody hears me. I mean, that's kind of like one of my main things. I'd rather have a little of a lot than a lot of a little. And I'll tell you, the best way to do that is when you give, you freaking get, right? Like anything with me is the rising tide raises all ships. Like that's what I'm trying to do. I don't want to be up on the top of the mountain by my freaking self, right? And I think that's so important when you're scaling this. I want to go back to this and we'll wrap up here. And I'd say like the next 5-10 minutes, guys, just so you know. But I think, you know, you hit on something that I think is so freaking powerful when it comes to sales, which is testimonials. How powerful, let's start with you, Kylie. How powerful have the testimonials been for y'all when it comes to marketing and growing your business?
Yeah, it's been huge. I've actually been talking to like our email agency to try and get like an email flow to get more reviews in for like e-commerce sites. We're on Shopify, so there's a ton of different, you know, plugins you can have or apps you can add. We use Okindo just to, you know, after like 30 days, Okindo, Okendo. So after 30 days, it'll like send out an email, like it knows, hey, they bought Distressor. And it's like, hey, how are you liking the product? You know, leave us a review and we'll send you a discount code. Definitely for like online stores, you know, you're shopping on Amazon, you're looking at the reviews. Like you want to see the validation that the product works and that it's good. So for us, you know, it's been huge. We've been trying to build it. We've been focusing on it, even using it in like our ads, email campaigns, just to get people to, you know, try it. When they read a strong or a good testimonial, I think it definitely helps get that person.
How powerful is video? Now that I've been like, literally, it's funny. And I've been following and I've seen your guys' stuff, but now it's just all over my freaking feed because it's like, oh, you called Paul and it heard Kylie too. Oh, and Chris is in the text message. Oh, okay. Yeah. Just blow them up real quick. Like I'm getting targeted, which I have no problem with. I love it. Cause that's kind of the point, ain't it? Like, and it's working. Like, hey, you talk to me and it hits me, right? How powerful is video when it comes to marketing? Because I think you guys do a really good job of that. And it's not just video. Like, I think you are, again, you're showing the how you package the product, how you use the product. It's almost kind of like an how-to in some of y'all's, content that you're putting out there. What would be your encouragement to somebody that maybe is struggling with video, and how has it really helped y'all in your business?
Yeah, I think just how social media has changed. Like, people are, Instagram is now like all video, which people hated at first, but it helps people be able to, it's like more personable. Like, I feel like they can like actually see what's happening. You can easier demonstrate than just like a photo. For us, I mean, we have someone that helps us. Like, we found a college student who is really good at like TikTok and Instagram, and she's just helped us be able to like stay up with the trends and create compelling videos. Like, I think everyone talks about the hook. Like, you have to catch their attention, or like you have to explain like what's their problem and how do you solve it, sort of thing. And that's been really important. But I mean, videos are huge. You have to be creating videos and posting them if you want to like be caught in the algorithm and hopefully have a post go viral. We had our first viral post in February on a video that wasn't even that cool, but we reached 700,000 people and gained like 8,000 followers.
Wow.
So it's just consistency.
From that one post, 8,000 followers. Jeez.
Yeah. And we've been trying to do it again, but it's just consistency. The more you put out there, the higher your chances are of going viral. And just keep trying and seeing what works. I think you also have to evaluate like, hey, what have I done in the last month? What's working? What's not? What topics should I post on? And understanding like just because you posted before doesn't mean you can't post it again. Like, only 2,000 people saw that reel. So like, post it again and maybe you'll reach another 2,000 people.
That's a really good point. I don't even know if I've actually heard. I know I'm all about repurposing content, but actually repurposing the same reel, because I swear I just put one out there. Was it last week? And I was like, yo, this one's about to be a banger, dude. Like, oh, it's so good. And then I think I got like 120 likes or views on it. And I was like, damn, dude, it's like a little picture of my baby is getting, more reactions to this. Which also, isn't that hilarious? This is kind of a squirrel moment, but like, I literally put a post out there yesterday, and my profile's been booming right now because of the algorithm and my birthday. So it's like, there's a lot of people on my page right now. And so it's like, oh yeah, like, Joe, like they're all partying and having a blast at it. And so everybody loves that, right? And then I post like, hey, I just helped my friend pay off his house in less than 5 years, and I saved him $179,000 in interest, and we're creating a tax-free retirement income for him. Like, if anybody's interested, comment below. And I got like freaking 4 likes on it. And I was like, are you kidding me? Like, you guys like me like doing cake stands, but I'm over here trying to help you pay off your house and nobody freaking engages with it. It's like, what the hell? But it is, to your point, Kylie, it's the consistency. The more I post about this mortgage-free life stuff that I'm doing, the more it's going to get in front of people. And all it takes is that one time where it's like, damn, dude, that's not even my good post. Like, I didn't even really try that hard on that one. And then it turns out I get 700,000 freaking views on it, which is wild. But that can change a business. It really can, especially in the virtual world that we're living in now. Because if COVID wasn't the perfect testament to it, y'all, like, we are purely in a virtual world. It's how you're tuning into this show right now. Obviously, don't get me, I'm a big in-person. I love in-person events and stuff like that. But man, like, what we can do now through social media and online marketing, and I mean, it's totally different. And so I guess real quick, so the last few minutes here, I wanted y'all to actually kind of just give quick explanation of Bug Hut and Quick Ship. Like, so, hey, consumers watching this, whatever, right? Because again, this is going to be put out to YouTube and all that stuff. What is Bug Hut? And then speak to what both of the businesses are, so that people have a clear understanding of that. And then we'll close out from there.
Go ahead.
You talking about Bug Hut?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So Bug Hut, like, I feel like we've talked about it, but we haven't, summed it up. Our focus, we've been in the ag space. My family's been in the ag space for 20 plus years. So selling these types of biologicals to row crop farmers, large scale corn, soybeans, wheat. So these products have been used on millions of acres, tested, proven yield results, because that's all farmers care about. But Paul and I, we weren't passionate about that. I was trying to keep like just a flower on my porch alive for my son's birthday party. And usually stay alive for like a week. I'm working on my green thumb is what I say. But I was like, I'm just going to try these products on it, started using them, and the flower, it would stay alive the whole entire summer. Like, I was able to keep it alive, even when I forgot to water it for like 5 days straight.
Right.
So we were like, these products work. We started doing market research. We had the Bug Hut name. We came up with the easy to use packaging, developed our own labels like we talked about, and then just launched, e-commerce. Had a bunch of people asking us for like, how can you help with our bugs? Do you have any nutrient products? So the core products are biologicals. There is no NPK. It's not a fertilizer. People automatically think, oh, it's just another fertilizer for my plants. It's actually beneficial bacteria. So think of it like a probiotic, but for your plants. So it's like the good vitamins or the good bugs that help your plants uptake nutrients naturally versus just continuing to apply Miracle-Gro harsh chemicals on your plants. So, we just came up with an all natural product line. We expanded. So we're kind of like that one-stop shop for your all natural organic growing needs. So yeah, that's Bug Hut.
I love it. A lot of that, I was just like, holy shit, you guys are smarter than me.
People always ask, like, who's the chemist? And we're like, neither of us.
Yeah, it's like, hey, I'm good at insurance. That's what I tell people. I'm damn good at insurance. That's about it, man. Chris, Chris and Paul, maybe you guys want to speak to Quick Ship real quick and just kind of what you're doing with it?
Yeah, so for Shipped Quick, what it is it's a fulfillment center. So, hey, no worries. If you're it's shipped with a T, SHIPT. We try to get punny. So, Shipped Quick is what our business is, and it is a fulfillment center. So, if you're an e-commerce brand owner selling anything from a phone case to T-shirts to sometimes people are selling supplements, it doesn't matter. You're selling it to a consumer online and you're doing it out of your garage, public storage, and you want to pay employees to do it, you call a warehouse like us and we do it for you. You connect wherever you're selling it, Shopify, TikTok Shop, to our software. Your orders go direct through and we'll ship it out the next day. It's as simple as that. What differentiates us is that's what all the companies do. What we do different is we act as free business consultants. So our target market is growth brands, those entrepreneurs that are trying to leave their full-time jobs and they just don't have the time or the energy to be able to go out there and find the right answers. We, and our mentality, we always say, you grow, we grow. If I can figure out how to grow your business quicker by solving a problem, and that means our products are going to be sold more or your products are going to be sold more, that means Paul and I make more money. So my full-time job is going out there and making relationships with embedding marketing agencies, packaging companies, freight companies, you name it, because you grow, we grow. And that's what we do at Shipped Quick. We grow.
I love it, man. I love it. Well, guys, we'll go ahead and we're getting ready to wrap up here. Typically how we like to close out, y'all, and we'll go Paul, Kylie, and then Chris, is just what's next on the horizon. And it's real quick too. I have to give a shout out because Paul didn't actually say the number. And I think there's so much power to go into that freaking event that like, Lee, do I really have to go to another freaking trade show? And then he closes over $100,000 freaking in product at a freaking trade show. Correct me if I'm wrong, Paul. I'm pretty sure that's the number you told me.
Yeah.
But come on. You're going to a freaking trade show and you close over $100K in product. And I just think there's so much testament to that. Like, just fucking pick up the phone, just go to that one event, just get your ass in the room, and you never freaking know. And I think so many people will focus on, well, remember that one that I went to like 5 times ago and like I didn't get anything out of it. It's like, it's kind of what you were talking about, Kylie, and just, hey, repost the same reel, right? Like, let's keep staying consistent. You never know which one is going to make you go viral or help you sell $100,000 in product at a freaking booth, right? So again, I had to give you a shout out on that because I think that's super impressive. And so again, what is next on the horizon for the Garcia family and for Chris also? I was like, Chris Cousins, I was like, yo, is this dude freaking Kirk Cousins' little bro or something, dude? Like, you like that?
Just a little cross version, right?
But what's next on the horizon for y'all?
So the biggest thing for me is to not try to bring any other arms into this like conglomerate of businesses, right? Like just focusing on these 2 businesses and really trying to grow them. We have some revenue targets in place that I'd like to hit within the next 12 months. And I'm really sticking to those. But at the end of the day, it's really just solely focusing on these. Don't get sidetracked with anything else. Like obviously I'm going to have ideas come up, but like just push them to the wayside. Push them to the wayside for now, because again, like I think the biggest thing I found is like there's no get rich quick overnight scheme. Like it just doesn't happen, right? It doesn't happen like that. It's pushing through, powering through, and seeing it through, right? Because I think the first 2 to 3 years are probably going to be the toughest, but once you can get past that, I think it's going to be much easier. So, And that's really why I quit my job, right? I was like, Kylie all the time was like, you just need to do it. And I'm like, I can't. I'm making really good money. It's covering our insurance. But finally, I was like, you know what? If we really want to see this thing through, we really want to see it grow, then I just need to do it. And although it's going to suck for the first probably 6 months at least, like, we just got to do it.
Kylie's like, wait, what? It's going to suck? Oh, shit. What you got, Kylie? What's next for Kylie?
So more on a personal level. So like all of us, we just hit our 30s, start of a new decade. I think we haven't mentioned we do have 4 kids. So there is a baby in there. We talked about the 3, but the baby's almost 1. So I think, our family's complete. For me, like my 30s is just like focusing on, like Paul said, these 2 businesses, growing them, raising our family too. That's important to me. Like family's always the most important. But our kids, they're right there along with us. We bring them to the shop. They fill orders with us.
Hayden's here right now. She's eating a donut in the other room, and she's puts lids on bottles. She picks orders for us. I mean, she does it all.
Yeah. So, the goal is to be on as many retail shelves as possible with Bug Hut and to help as many businesses grow as we can with Ship Quick.
Yeah, I love it. Hey, yeah, also, too, I'm going to drop that. Actually, Paul, I'm probably going to drop that in the freaking comments or something. If you guys are in the Dallas, we'll just say Dallas-Fort Worth area, Bug Hut is in a bunch of Lowe's out there. So they landed a deal with Lowe's that they launched recently. So if you guys are in the Dallas, Plano, Frisco, Mesquite, any area there in the DFW area, and I know we have a lot of y'all that are watching this show, go hit up a Lowe's. I would love, we talked about it for testimonials earlier on the show. Snag a picture, something. But if you guys see Bug Hut and you watch the show, let us know because I think that would go a long way. So, real quick, wanted to give that shout out. Chris, what's up with you, man? What you got next?
Yeah, I think that I just moved down to southern Florida from Nashville, so it's definitely exploring around and finding some fun beaches to hang out with when we're not working. I'm in Boca Raton.
No
so
shit.
It's right by,
hey, Lynette,
yeah,
Lynette Alonso, if you're watching this, literally like one of my favorite freaking people of all time, and we're like getting ready to start doing business. She literally lives in Boca Raton. And also Bruce Weinstein, if you're watching this, hit up Chris, which actually, Chris, you should hit up Bruce Weinstein because he's the freaking homie. He's connected. That would be a good conversation. Anyways.
Hey, let me know you all. Yeah, so definitely growing
relationships.
I'm all about it. I love connecting. That's usually how business works the best. So growing Ship Quick, definitely focusing on that. Like I said, AI, we built the company to free up entrepreneurs to make them more efficient so they could have time with their families, have time with their kids. So really getting some more of our bots deployed into small businesses would be a win for me. And personally, I unfortunately did not work out after playing a Division I sport and changed my body, not for the better. So I've lost about 40 pounds in the last 2 years and started to put muscle back on. So really just trying to focus on healthy living and just enjoying that next decade. Like Kylie said, unfortunately, the 20s are over.
Get the kid a wife.
Get the kid a wife.
One thing at a time.
Yeah, hey, you Boca Raton, man. You got it. Oh, man. I love it. Well, hey, real quick, before we close out, y'all, how can they reach out if they need to hit you guys up?
LinkedIn, probably the best. Go, Kylie.
Yeah. Email info@bughut.com or info@shipquick.com.
Okay, and LinkedIn.
We just got our cells. You can pass those out, Joe. Have people call us, whatever. We're transparent and open. So.
Well, and I'll guys, if you're watching in the Insurance Syndicate, I'll get them in the group and tag them so you guys can obviously message them on social media if you need to. But without further ado, here we are. It is Winning on Wednesday, y'all. But just because it's halfway through the week doesn't mean that you get to slow down. It is the peak of the week, right? And the one thing I really want to tell y'all, and obviously I got a lot from this freaking call, but it's details delay and just pick up the freaking phone. So thank you, Paul. Thank you, Kylie. Thank you, Chris. I appreciate you guys. Hey, Paul, it's so cool to see you guys. Dude, thinking about where we come from, man, and like how far we've come, dude. Like I remember when I used to ride my bike across town and like put my butt on your brother's face. You remember that? I made him cry, dude. And I got so much trouble. So here we are now, like running businesses and having families and everything, man. So it's awesome to see you guys doing everything that you're doing. Thank y'all for your time, and thank you to everybody that was tuning in and watching in. We appreciate you guys. Hope you have an amazing rest of your week. We'll talk to you soon. Later.
Thanks, Joe.
Thanks, Joe.
Thanks. Have a good one.
Yeah.